Hi, I'm Quenby Gallahan, licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been a therapist here in the state of California for well over a decade, and this channel, The Grateful Therapist, is all about mental health, counseling tips, and personal growth. So if you like learning about those things, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Today I'm making another video about therapy and counseling with teens. I have many videos on the channel about working with teens and kids, so be sure to check those out. I want to talk today about something that I think each and every counselor should be doing with their teen clients. And maybe you're watching this video and you are not a mental health professional. Maybe you're just someone who has a teen in your life that you care about. I think this video could be helpful for you as well. And what I want to talk about today is helping teens to identify their strengths. So in this video, I'll be sure to talk about what do I mean by identifying strengths, why it's important for doing this with teenagers especially, and I'll give you some tips for ways to do this in your therapy sessions. So what do I mean by identifying strengths? So often I'll ask a teenager, so what do you think your strengths are? And they usually respond by saying, I don't know, or I have no idea. And I think it's important to help teenagers discover what's great about them. What do they do really well? What are their strengths? Their strengths can be their positive qualities, and it can also be resources they have in their life. So for example, examples of strength could be your intelligence, your humor, that you're hardworking, but it could also be that you have a very supportive family, or you have a church that you think is really helpful for you. It could be that you have a school and teachers in your life that look out for you and care about your well-being. I also think it's important for teenagers to take a look at what have they done in their life that they feel good about? What are they proud of? What are their achievements? So examples of things like achievements could be bringing up a grade in Spanish from a C to a B+, or trying out and making it onto the varsity sports team, or helping a friend who was struggling. Things that they have done that they feel like make them feel good about themselves when they think about. So I want teenagers to be able to answer very clearly without any hesitation, oh, Quenby, my strengths are, I'm smart, I'm hardworking, I'm super curious, I have a lot of adults around me who care about me. You may have to talk to teens about the idea that acknowledging and owning your strengths and the things that are positive about you, that does not mean that they are conceited. Often a teenager will say, no, I don't know, that's like, I don't want to be conceited. And I sort of say it's not conceited to know your strengths, to know valuable ways that you contribute, to know your worth and your value. Or they'll often say, I don't want to brag. And again, I don't think it's bragging to be able to acknowledge things that you have done that you feel good about, that you've worked hard towards, and to just acknowledge some of the things that are great about you. And as usual with most of my videos, I try and have some sort of tool for you, some worksheets that go along with the video so that if these are skills you want to try and use in your own work with clients, you'll have a tool. And all my tools are available in my Etsy shop at The Grateful Therapist on Etsy, and there'll be a link in the description below. Today, I've created a strength tree for us. This is an exercise I've done for a long time. I just put it more in a worksheet format so that I can easily share it with you. Now, why is it especially important to do this kind of strength building work with teenagers? I think it has a lot to do with where teenagers are at developmentally. As you know, being in adolescence is a time of really learning about your identity. Teens are often asking questions about who am I? How do I want to show up in the world? How do I want other people to see me? So if teens are working on building their identity, it's really helpful to give them some positive building blocks, if you will, so that they can start associating these positive qualities and achievements with themselves. And of course, it also helps a teenager to build their self-esteem and their confidence. Teens are working more also, of course, on becoming a little bit more independent and taking on more responsibility. So knowing what's great about them can only help them in all these endeavors. Now, of course, it would be great to work on strength building with clients of all ages. My tool would apply to working with people of all ages. You might just have to change the exercise and the language a little bit for little kids or for older adults. Now, you may have picked up on the fact that when I'm talking about identifying and building strengths, I'm also talking about resilience. Resiliency, of course, is the ability to bounce back after challenges, after adversity and hard things. And there was a time in psychology where people believed you were either born resilient or not resilient. And now, of course, we know that resiliency is something that you can build on. Resilience is actually something that can be developed in anyone. Resilience is something that can be learned. There are certain resiliency factors. Knowing your strengths and achievements is part of that. Surrounding yourself with helpful, supportive, positive people and other things can help you build your resiliency. So we are working on that when we're working on the strength tree that I'm kind of about to show you. Why don't I show it to you now? So how do we help teenagers to build their resiliency and become more aware of their strengths? One of the ways is talking about it. I always like to do an activity with teenagers. Sometimes you get a teenager in your office who is very comfortable talking and processing and wants to do that. Other teenagers need to do more with their hands or more activities. I have used this idea of a strength tree in my private practice with clients for years and years. I created kind of a simplified one to put onto Etsy. That's in my Etsy store at The Grateful Therapist. And essentially what we're going to do is help them put their strengths in the tree branches here and also put their achievements, things they've accomplished or feel good about in the trunk and in the roots. It's very simple, and I have even provided lists of ideas for what strengths and positive qualities are and what achievements are. So you can simply work with a teen to fill this out, and it gives them lots of helpful suggestions. If you're a more creative person, I like to do more art therapy. You can cut out the tree, you can put it on stock paper, you can use collage with it, you can use markers and stickers and really turn it into more of an art therapy experience if you want, or you can keep it simple. Sometimes a teen has a challenging time, even with all the examples, and so you might need to help them a little bit by letting them know what strengths do you see in them. So you might say, well, I think it's been really brave of you. I think that you are brave because you came to counseling, even though you were a little nervous, you didn't know who I was, but you have stayed with it till we got to this point. So I think you can put brave down on your strength tree. Or maybe you could put something like, you've talked a lot about your family in our therapy sessions, and I know that you have a younger brother and that you have really been so great with your younger brother. I know you're the one that's helped him practice for baseball, and you're the one who's helped him learn how to ride a bike, a two-wheeler for the first time. So I think that you are a really great sibling. That's definitely something to be proud of. So you can start them off at least by letting them know some of the things that you've seen in them that you would consider strengths. Sometimes I'll do a tree alongside my client. So they're working on their tree and I'm working on mine. That way I can model it for them. And they can see me kind of consider some of the strengths, or maybe find my own word rather than one that's listed, or what it's like when somebody who has some good awareness about their strengths can share it and talk about it. And then we're kind of working parallel in that way. So that helps teens feel more comfortable and come up with some things on their own. So the strength tree that I have is sort of a jumping off point. Take this simple outline and cater it to your client's needs. You can use the idea and do it in some other way. You can create your own tree at home. You don't have to use mine. But I hope that sort of helps at least get you started. I hope this video was helpful to you in some way. I appreciate your comments, so please leave me a comment. Let me know what other video ideas you might have that are about mental health or counseling tips. Please be sure you've hit that like button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.